And it's that time again. Welcome to No Brush Required. It's me, Tamara Grand at Tamara Grand Art, and Barbara Reed.
Do you read art?
Hola.
Hola.
Hello from the hot zone.
Oh, can you see it's not hot here? I couldn't even drink a
Hot.
bubbly today. I'm drinking hot tea because it's kind of chilly here still.
Wow, we're the opposite. It is super hot. It is muggy. And I got the air conditioning cranked up. Yeah.
I finally bought an air conditioner, so that means we're going to have a nice and hot summer now.
Yes. Oh, you don't have an air conditioner, or you do have an air conditioner?
No, we just bought a portable one for the first time. We've lived through the last few summers with these big heat domes have been just miserable.
Yes.
And I said, can't do it this year.
Yeah,
Can't do it.
yeah. I remember Marnie talked about that last summer. In Victoria, nobody has air conditioning.
Yeah,
But
no,
they
and not
needed
here.
it.
Not here either historically, although more and more new houses are getting it put in because it's a thing now. So
Climate change.
I know. Well, we don't get snow, so well, not too much snow, so I'll still take that.
I love the snow. I love all the seasons. I love all
I
the
know.
weather. Give
Yeah,
me all the weather.
it's nice to have change, isn't it?
It is. It is. Easily bored.
So we're here today for a do-over.
Yes.
Some of you guys will probably maybe you haven't noticed, maybe it's just Barb and I that have noticed from Morocco, hot and sunny in Morocco.
Like that.
Some of our original No Brush Required episodes, the replays, no longer play. Instagram has corrupted the files somehow, and you can go and look at some of those originals and all you see is the still image and nothing happens. And I started downloading them around episode 20 just in case something bad happens, but I don't have them all. And so we thought maybe that we'd invite some of those guests back to do a catch up with us, those people whose recordings went away. So that's what we're doing today.
Yeah. And it's good to talk again anyways, right?
I know.
Lots going on.
So today I'm going to invite her. We have Megan Woodard Johnson coming to chat with us all the way from Wisconsin.
I was right. Roman asked me where is she from? I said, I think Wisconsin.
She's from
Hello,
Wisconsin.
Megan.
Hi, Megan. Long time no chat.
Yeah.
Like yesterday.
Right, yes. Mary and I talk pretty frequently now. But yes, and I am in Wisconsin and it's hot here. But 3 or 4 days ago it was in the 60s. So it's really kind of crazy right now, up and down.
Changeable.
Yeah.
But you're doing well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm doing well. Just plugging along. I was thinking about how we're already at the end of 5 months of this year. Have already gone by. It's crazy.
I know. It absolutely is.
That way. Gosh.
And did you get all your computer stuff up and running? Megan had one of those moments yesterday.
A teachable moment. Yeah, I don't know. My laptop fried, and that also means that a bunch of images in particular, like I don't care about the other files, but there's a lot of images that I had sitting on the desktop. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I know that you're supposed to back up stuff, and I didn't, and somehow I didn't trust or understand the cloud, and so I didn't have it all downloading to the cloud. All the stuff that I understand and have fun up to a certain point with tech, and then I'm like, the rest of it I just won't bother with, and I'm regretting that. So I have a new laptop. I am eventually going to probably pay somebody to see if they can extract some of the better images from the old one. And moving forward, I will have an external hard drive.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, Megan. So you're ahead of me. What? I don't know what that is.
Well, I mean, I guess if you put it I still equate things to their physical counterparts from when we were kids, but it would be this piece of paper was in my desk drawer and my desk drawer caught fire. And it's gone. But if I were smart, I would have made a copy of it and put it in a fireproof safe. And that's what I didn't do. And I definitely should have done it. I just keep thinking about all the images I've taken of my artwork and then spent time. I have the raw images, but all the photo editing we do and like all that stuff. And they were beautifully organized in a file folder, but sitting on the desktop instead of somewhere safer.
Well, I almost feel like, it's all these advantages and advances we've had in technology, but think back to the day when you actually had to save things on a floppy disk.
Right.
You had it on your floppy disk.
Yep. Yeah.
I remember those. Oh my gosh, they were a pain in the butt.
I remember swapping floppies on a Mac 2E way back in the day, the startup disk to get it going, and then the program disk, and then you save it to your other disk. And crazy.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh.
If we have any young viewers on here today, you will not have a clue what we're talking about.
No.
Except the little save icon is now like the universal symbol. And it is
a
disk.
It's still a floppy disk.
So Barb, that's what an external hard drive is. You can go and you can buy like a 3 terabyte hard drive for what, $100 now, and it's a little box. It's literally a box like this, and you plug it in. And you use a program called Time Machine, and it backs up your hard drive, and you can do it once a week or once a month, and it's incremental, so it'll only back up what you've changed since the last time you backed up. Doesn't have to redo the whole thing.
Okay, so what's the cloud? Because I know my photos are in the cloud.
And I thought mine were. So I don't know how to answer that question.
A part of the problem is if you're an Apple person and everything's synced to the cloud for you, your photos on your phone go to the cloud. But when you edit photos on your desktop or your laptop, you make changes to the color, the cropping, you save them in different sizes. You're probably not saving them back up to the cloud. You're probably saving them to a very, very lovely organized file on your computer.
Yep.
That's exactly my computer.
Okay. I was talking to Megan, not you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll just step out.
Yeah,
it doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing, even despite knowing and telling other people, like, make sure you have backups. And so
if I do as I do, or do as I say, not as I do.
Yep, exactly. Definitely not as I did in this instance. But you know what? It'll be okay. I'm not like a CPA. I didn't lose a bunch of people's like sensitive tax information or anything like that. And the worst thing I lost was some professional headshots that I paid an amazing photographer for. So
who probably has them, and they can resend them to you.
They can resend them, or I can rebuy them or whatever. So it'll all be fine.
Well, and on the plus side, there's nothing better than starting with a nice, fresh, clean desktop.
Yes, a clean desktop. Yep.
And it's an opportunity to improve your organization system. If you didn't like your previous one.
You know what? You guys are I had like things all, some things organized, and then I would just throw a bunch of stuff on the desktop. And anytime I was doing something like a Zoom where I knew I was going to do a screen share, and there's that moment where you can see the host's desktop, I would create a photo of one folder called like under the rug, and I would just shove everything in there. So I had like folders within folders within folders that were really just like, here's all the shit that I shoved in the closet. So you couldn't see it. So.
Okay, I think that's genius.
Somebody said they can't hear us. Is anybody else not hearing us?
Oh, that's strange. I can hear you guys.
I can hear you guys too. I'm just flipping back through just the one comment that said that. So hopefully that's all it was.
Yeah, maybe there's a
Sometimes when you turn volume off on one part of Instagram, like you know how reels and stuff, I'll sometimes mute them. That might mute a live call.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
might be right.
If anybody else isn't hearing us, you guys should let us know. But that was sound is good. Everybody else is good, so that's all good. Okay, so I'm gonna do a really quick intro because some of you guys won't know who Megan is. Megan Woodard Johnson is a mixed media artist. She has been an artist for a very long time, right? Pretty much always. You've always known that you were an artist.
Yeah. I mean, I've been an artist since I was a child. I've been a working artist probably full-time for the last, say, 6 or 7 years, and building up. I had like a 10-year hiatus after college before making art again. So we go through different phases of life, but and so, and we've all met each other through the beautiful online art
community. I think maybe you and I met through Connected Artists. Al shared as Connected Artist. And I've been doing your mentorship program. So Megan likes to make art, but she also has resources for artists, and she's got some in-person workshops and some on her website workshops, and we can talk about all of that.
Sure.
And we can talk about the work that you've been doing recently.
Yeah.
Right there.
I love that. Oh
my gosh. Thank you. I'm trying to work out some weird areas. So I'm glad to take a break for a little bit.
What do you consider a weird area on that? Because I mean, I've been all about editing pieces the last 3 weeks. So
yeah. So like right now, I'll step aside. I kind of feel like these big areas are maybe too solid. Like, and they won't take I don't think I'll like, completely obscure them or do anything super dramatic. But sometimes there's like little moves to make to sort of like push them back a little bit and put something on top of them that creates like a newer layer and maybe like a brighter spot on top of them. I'm not sure. Yeah. So that in this one, those are the sort of areas that it's like if I step back and squint, they're like all I can see. And then I feel like maybe that's a little too much in the composition.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How many are you working on at once right now? Because for a while you were working on a lot of your 24 by 24 pieces.
Right. Those sort of are a continuous little project I'm doing for myself is a bunch of pieces that are on the same size substrate, a 24 by 24 inch square. Right now I'm working on this big one, which is 60 by 40 inches. And I've got like 4 12 by 12s on the go. And there's always a couple of those 24 by 24s at some sort of stage. I need to send some work to one of my galleries next week. So I'm, trying to finish up a couple pieces that I know I'm hoping will turn out well enough for me to send to them. And that's what I'm working on right now.
It's good to have the variety of sizes. Those 12 by 12s are all, there's something friendly about them, It's like having,
they are.
I come back to them on the go.
I come back to them a lot. Like, I'll be working bigger and then I'll come back to those because they're comfortable. And then I'll want to work really small and then I'll come back to 12 by 12. They'll seem big again. I think you're right. They're just that sweet spot in the middle.
Yeah. And doing something to a 12 by 12 is not nearly as traumatic as doing something to a big piece. So sometimes I'll actually use my 12 by 12, do something, and then look at a big piece and go, that's what's missing, and just do it.
Sometimes the thing that I have, I don't want to say trouble, but there's an element of figuring out how to take what happens on a 12 by 12 can be one brush stroke can cover 2/3 of the the composition, and and that drama is really exciting. But then to sort of figure out how do I translate this? Yes, I have larger brushes and stuff, but realistically, you don't want my work. I'm not aiming for just one big brush stroke. Within that area, there needs to be a lot of other detail and interest. But on a smaller piece, that one big brush stroke kind of has enough interest in that scale. So it's always interesting going from one size to another because of those questions of scale and proportion.
And it's not just the size of the brush, it's the whole movement. The arc of your arm on a 12 by 12, you're moving through 180 degrees, but now you're on that big piece and you just can't cover as much ground in a free sort of way, right?
It's true. It's true. Unless you're working with push brooms and stuff like that.
Doesn't that look exciting?
Definitely don't. Not yet. One day maybe.
So are these pieces, the one behind you, did you start that in your usual way? Did you start with your layers of collage papers and
I always, so this is sort of a repeat, but that's why we're doing this. Well, I wish I had a complete starting piece that was not okay, I'm looking for a sample for you guys.
I always find it amazing that Megan has all that collage under there.
I know.
So this one, it's a little bit hard to see, but if anybody goes back to my feed, there's, pictures of this part of the process. But underneath this paint, there's the whole first layer that I put on the surface is just collage papers. And it just builds like a groundwork for me. It's kind of like some painters will, you know, do like a colored ground, like I know a lot of landscape painters will start with like an orange ground, and it just somehow activates the canvas for you. And I have sentimental reasons why I use the types of papers that I do. And so then the act of like layering them down in this sort of like methodical way kind of enters the process for me. And then, yeah, like big swoops of colors start happening, a big, like really loose gestural drawn marks to just start building up a conversation. A lot of times I like to post in progress pictures, but something that's like starts out in the reds and oranges might ultimately end up in like blues and purples. And so I'm like, don't get attached. Like, yeah, these big reds are pretty exciting, but if I want a red painting, it's never going to start out as a red painting. So yeah, all of it sort of starts to build up. And then I get to this point where like, ultimately, I really like the composition as a whole. I'm really happy with the general color story and like what's happening, but there are areas that feel like they're not quite solved yet. And it'll take me like many days. And sometimes I'm like hanging in another space. So I'm just kind of seeing it out of the corner of my eye, and the little decisions will just start being little tiny tweaks at this point.
So how much collage is showing through the paint?
Here, I'm gonna.
Is it just
am I able to flip my? I can flip my camera.
You can flip your camera.
Should we do a little flip?
Don't flip my camera. You can flip your.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Let's see. So, tell me if you can kind of see. So this here is like new layers of collage that are acting as like part of the composition. So I choose those for color and tone and stuff. Under here, can you guys see like these kind of straight lines? Here there's like a little, like there's little circles and stuff. So that's about how much you can see from that original layer, because by the time it's painted so much, you really can't see the details, but the paint and the pigments start hooking on the edges. But then if I bring you up to like this corner up here, there is actually, you can see through to the, like that was a piece of graph paper under there, and you can sort of still see the ink and the marks because I must not have put that many layers of paint in that area. So each piece is different, and it's just fun kind of surprise, like how much, but a lot of times it's that first layer is completely obscured.
Interesting. And do you ever sand back into it or to
I don't sand back. Sometimes, again, not a sander. I think maybe because I don't want to like grind up that paper, but if I want to reveal, sometimes what I'll do is I'll spray it down with alcohol, just rubbing alcohol, and then you can start wiping away the paint. Even if it's dry, it starts like, it kind of reactivates the paint a little bit, and it'll start like kind of peeling away or pulling away. And so I do that not necessarily because I want to get back to seeing what was underneath there. I just kind of like what that action does to the paint and how the paint looks.
Does it give it a distressed sort of feel?
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
That's really cool. I'm going to write that down.
And you play with like, it works like you start to play with that, and you learn like what that alcohol does if the paint is still really wet, or if it was really thick or really thin put on, or if it was like, my sweet spot is like fairly thick paint and let it dry for like 20 minutes and then try it with alcohol. Otherwise it just kind of like wipes it all away or smears it. But if you come back like a couple days later, as long as you haven't put any kind of sealing coat on it, it will sort of do something to that last layer of paint.
Okay, cool. I'm going to try that for sure.
Me too. It's fun.
Yeah, because when I want to take off paint or get rid of some paint, I actually throw it in our sink.
Oh, I've done that when it's wet.
And I love doing that. And then taking the
sprayer or the
nozzle. Thank you. Yeah. And I sometimes with a scrubby.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I like a scrubby really get into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just have, this is just a spray bottle and I just keep refilling it. So that's the alcohol.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to try it for sure.
Cool. Yeah. And Douglas just wanted to confirm that you're using acrylic paint.
Yes, I am
you
using
use acrylic paint, not oil, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go, Douglas.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
And you like to use other things too, don't you? Like the wax crayons and.
Yeah, I will. I'll use the Caran d'Ache watercolor crayons. I use charcoal. I'll use I love the Sennelier oil pastels, and a lot of it is then, let's see, like if it's anything water soluble, either I like let the water of the next layer, or I let it kind of wash as a way to let that material do its thing, or I'll spray it with like a spray varnish, a matte spray varnish to hold it while I then go do more layers. And I'll do that a lot. If I add charcoal, I'll fix it with a spray varnish before I keep going. And then when I paint, periodically I will cover the whole painting with acrylic matte medium as sort of a sealing agent. Definitely do that over collage papers if I want to continue painting, because it like protects them so they don't start, like when you hit paper with too much water, it'll start to sort of dissolve. But I use matte medium for that, because then that just tiny little bit of tooth that matte medium has, as opposed to like a varnish or gloss medium, allows like colored pencil or those oil pastels to be really colorful. Otherwise, if it's a shiny surface, especially colored pencils will just sort of skid right over it. But the matte surface will really let you get some good pigment.
Yeah. And you can find the matte medium makes things just a little bit less vibrant, like a little white.
Yeah. I've never noticed like a white sheen. It always dries, it seems to me, like perfectly clear. I put on a pretty thin coat of it. But it's not like, I don't choose a matte finish for the final layer. This is just to like hold things in between layers.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried clear gesso? Because I've been playing around with that. It's got nice tooth to it. Really nice tooth.
I
so as an intermediate.
Yeah, like the whole kind of one of the point of gesso is that it has a tooth to hold the pigment. And is it truly clear?
Yep.
And it's toothy. It's like
it's
really
very toothy.
It's almost like sandpaper gritty.
Wow. Oh, I'll have to experiment with that. Fun.
Now, have you tried out inks, acrylic inks?
I just started. Yeah, I just grabbed some inks like the last every time I go. So it's funny, like as a full-time artist, like all my art supply runs are, they're like write-offs or whatever, like they're my expenses. And so I find sometimes that I get into this hole of like, well, I need the things that I always use, and I don't branch off into like playful things. But every year I like treat myself to something new, whether I know how to use it or not. And this year it was inks, and I'm sure I don't use them like, I've never watched a video or really, I just sort of drip them around and then brush them around. And, usually that's like in the earliest layers. So they're, that first layer of paper that I put down, that collage layer, I seal that in with the matte medium before I put any marks on it or any paint or anything like that. Again, to protect the papers. And then it's kind of fun to like use these sort of waterborne mediums like the Caran d'Ache water soluble crayons or the inks, because it, there's like always a quality that working on paper has. And I'm able to pretty much achieve that, but without ruining those vintage papers, which are they can be pretty fragile.
Gabriella says also pastel ground is like that. It gives you texture, and it's also clear. I have never used that before. Thanks, Gabriella.
Yeah. That's kind of what you can use to turn like a regular surface into pastel paper, where you need that grit. Yep.
Lots of fun stuff. I keep wanting to go out and get the Caran d'Ache #1. I don't know if you've used those. So the second ones are the water soluble ones. The #1 are not water soluble. And Rob Zott was telling us how he puts them on top of oil, and then he'll buff them, and you get this beautiful jewel
like a waxy.
Yeah. Well, he uses his finger. He actually said, like he will spend a long time using his finger to kind of burnish the crayon into painting, like tons of it.
Oh, that
and,
sounds
basically wear out his finger too in the process.
So you put like a little piece of cheesecloth or something over your finger to protect it.
But if you look at his work, you would never know.
No, you wouldn't. Oh, I gotta get to see his work up close. I'm so envious of you guys, but
Jackie says she likes the ones as well, the ones and twos. So there you go. Next time you go to the art supply store and you need to buy just something little to play with.
Give myself. Well, it's always funny. Like every once in a while, someone will give like a family member will give me a gift card to an art store, thinking like, "Isn't this perfect for you?" And part of me is like, "Well, I mean, I just have to expense everything, so it feels like you're funding my business, but that's okay." That sometimes is where I'll take that. Like earmark that kind of fund for something that feels like a total experiment. So
I find I tend to end up with a lot of those things and then I don't play with them enough.
I know. Yeah.
Every time you do a studio clean out, you're like, oh, I totally forgot that I bought these. I better pull them out and give them a try again.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely trying to work more of that into my practice these days. I was sharing with Tamara and the group, like I get into this sort of rut where I'm working to produce and I need to get myself back into the like just putting the work first for the sake of making the work the best and the most important thing. And
how do you do that?
I don't know, because I haven't been doing it very well. I think one of the things is to pull some expectations away, some outside things away, and to then like actively choose to do some things in your studio that don't have anything to do with finished products. I think that sort of is what's coming to mind. And that it feels like this new habit that I have to reintegrate, because over the number of years that my practice has gone from sort of fun sideline hobby up through full-time practice, some of that exploration, some of it's fallen by the wayside because I explored something and then decided not to follow it because maybe it didn't hold my interest. But some of that sort of just exploratory play has fallen by the wayside because I've let myself get a little sort of too many things on the list. So
like you almost need to schedule it in, like schedule in just free exploration.
Right. Or even if you, maybe make it like the first 15 minutes of your practice or whatever, sort of like, that's how you sort of kickstart your brain in your studio and stuff. Yeah.
And you know what else I find kind of fun too sometimes, and I did this last week, was Louise Fletcher had her free taster course last week. And so, just to sign up for things like that, where you're going to get some instruction for a few days and it's completely different than what you normally do. And you just kind of follow along and put your other work to the side. So that could be fun too.
Right. Or I remember, so I did this program with Alice Sheridan at the end of last year. I almost said school year because that's but the end of last year, we did this Soul Shine program for like 3 or 4 days, and we helped people sort of reconnect to what they really wanted to be doing. And one of the things, I led a guided meditation, which turned out to be
I did it with you.
I remember you were brilliant.
So it was pretty good, right? I was pretty proud of that moment. But one of my friends who's a painter and collage artist and strictly like 2D, we were on a call then afterwards for my mastermind group. And she was like, I did that meditation and it was so good, but damn it, when you said like, picture yourself in your making space, like making whatever you want with like no rules, nothing to bind you. She's like, I was throwing pottery. And now I've got to go learn to throw pottery. But you know what she did? She signed up for a class and she had such a good time, and it was very freeing, and it wasn't attached to anything she was trying to produce for any other thing. But so it was like this discovery for her that there was something completely outside of her normal practice that she wanted to play with. So
sometimes you let yourself for all of us to do, like do something completely unfamiliar that you have to learn from scratch how to do it.
Yeah, or just take like a 1-day workshop or something. Yeah. So, it doesn't have to be a huge commitment. So
like oil painting, right, Tamara?
There you go.
New York.
Yeah, I did get out my oil bars last week and it didn't go very well. So we'll see.
No.
It'll be better in New York. It'll be better there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be good. Or go on a holiday, right, Megan?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
exactly.
going, are you going on a holiday? I heard a rumor.
Yeah, we're my husband and my boys and I are going to Europe for 3 weeks. So we're just getting out of Dodge and trying to, reshift, recenter. Wondering about traveling with 2 teenage boys. But actually we travel well together, and we also have like really loose expectations of, what, there's sometimes I think with, especially traveling with teens, you get into trouble if you like expect them to appreciate everything that you expect or want to have the same kind of vacation that you would want to have. But yeah, I'm excited to just be somewhere different for.
Where are you going? Have you got everything?
Yeah, we're gonna. We have an itinerary. I have a spreadsheet. We have an itinerary. We're gonna start in Munich and then kind of loop down through a little bit of Austria and then back up into Germany and over to Belgium. And then we're staying with friends in outside of London, and then going up a little bit further north in England for a couple of days. So we're bouncing around. We're trying to make the most of it without driving ourselves crazy. Like my husband and I, if it was just the 2 of us, we would find one little cottage somewhere and be like, yes, Gabrielle, I'm going to be in London. All right, DM me. If it were just us, we would find like one little cottage and like never leave that little town. But we can't do that with the boys. They'd be so bored. So anyway, yeah.
And how old are they? They're old enough to go and do their own thing during the day if they want, right?
They're 19 and 17, and they're looking forward to doing their own day. And one of my sons is meeting up with friends that he's made online, that he's known for like 5 years, and now he's going to meet them in person. And we hope we meet them too, because
we have somebody from Austria.
From Austria.
Austria, yeah. Okay, so
Meryl,
you can DM me with
thanks for joining.
Questions about where we're going to be. And that's like, it's fun to know that I have like people all over the place through Instagram, which is so fun. But we're also like packing a pretty tight, agenda. And I think that there will be limited times that I can be like, hey, family, I'm off. I'm going to go visit friends or meet other people.
Artist friends,
Yeah, but I hope to make that happen, at least with a couple people.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We haven't traveled in a long time.
I know. Are you feeling good about it? I'm feeling a little. I've heard that the lineups at the airport for Vancouver are supposed to be just brutal, and we're going to Portugal, right? So
I saw a post the other day where it was somebody showing like an airport. I think it was Vienna. Where all our flights are direct. Well, Chicago to DC, lucky. And then direct. So that's good. So we don't have any transfers at any big like airports, except for DC, I guess. But anyway, so the post called it revenge traveling. Because everybody's so like, screw it, I'm going, I don't care. Like, and so I think there's going to be, I think in my mind, I'm picturing this like these quiet, bucolic little explorations, and I think I've got to adjust that expectation, because I think it's going to be, a lot of people out there packing in their 2 years, 2 years worth of vacation dreams, which is exactly what we're doing. So yeah,
I was watching the news last night, and I saw the little clip about the Mona Lisa and the visitor who put the pie on the Mona Lisa. But
I missed this. What happened?
Okay. So at the Louvre they have special, you can get closer to the Mona Lisa if you're disabled, because you can't get, the crowds are just too huge. So apparently this man posed as an older woman in a wheelchair to get close to the Mona Lisa, and pulled out a cream pie or cake and smeared it all over. I'm not even sure what it was about, what the stunt was about.
It was apparently to raise awareness about climate change, and was like yelling that artists need to know more about climate change. I mean,
okay, so I didn't even miss that.
To know more about climate
wrong with that, right? Yeah, like I think a lot of artists are very aware of climate change. First of all, so I don't think that was the best like audience. Also, like nobody that saw that happen is thinking, oh, climate change. They're thinking you just smeared lemon cake on a masterpiece, you're a whack job. Pardon me, that's probably not very nice, but
that's okay, we're all thinking
again. And then also like how terrible to like pose as somebody with disabilities. That's really obnoxious
on so many levels.
So many levels.
Isn't the Mona Lisa, isn't she behind glass or no?
Oh yeah, so it was on the glass.
Okay, well that's good.
Off. But my point being was, when I saw the Mona Lisa about 25 years ago, there were about 4 people in the gallery when we were there, and we saw, did you see the news? And there was a crowd of, there must have been like 50 people. People couldn't get anywhere near the painting. So this is what I'm imagining travel is going to be like this.
I think so too. Whereas like last summer, so many people were saying, if you can go see an exhibit, go now, because the museums are like empty, or you have time to entries and stuff. So well, I don't know. We're just gonna, I mean, my whole goal is just to be somewhere a little bit different, see some different things, eat some different food, and you know, just stay in hotels instead of my house.
Get out of your comfort zone for 3 weeks. This sounds
lovely.
I hope you have your passport, because I, don't want to talk.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've had all that stuff sorted out for ages, and we don't do a lot of frequent travel, but we've done a couple big trips with the boys, and so we feel really lucky. But this felt like sort of the last window, and so we are doing it regardless.
Good.
Mask up, and we're just gonna go. So but. And then we'll see like how that affects the studio practice. I'm really hoping it's like a reset.
Yeah. It probably, you can't help but be impacted by this trip. Even just seeing different things, that sort of filters in, right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Are you a photo bug? Do you take a lot of photos on your camera when you're in different places to come home and inspire you?
No, I'm terrible about that, because I'm just sort of in the moment, and I don't think to grab my camera. And I feel like they never really do justice, and all that. I'm not a great photographer of spaces or places. I will try, and it certainly is easier now with a great camera in everybody's pocket. One of my sons is really into taking pictures when we travel, and he takes fantastic images, so hopefully he'll be able to snag some. But I think because my art is not it's really not very inspired by what I see visually, a little bit, but so it's not the place where I go for inspiration to like go, take pictures of landscapes or cityscapes, but I can see, trying to notice textures and, just differences in color, where we are.
Like architecture, you might see some where you are.
Interesting shapes.
Yeah, exactly. And color plays and stuff like that. I'm always very appreciative when other people take great pictures of places that they've traveled. So
Douglas just asked us if you wouldn't mind taking us on a little tour of your studio.
Sure, I'd be happy to. How are we doing on timing? Because I don't want to lose, isn't there like a limit?
2 minutes.
We have another 20 minutes or so to chat.
Well, it's not that big of a studio, so
it's not like Bibby's.
Yeah. Oh my God, Bibby's studio was to die for.
Right, I'm gonna unplug because I'm charged up enough.
Thanks for asking, Douglas.
Yeah, thank you. I love doing this. It's fun. So my studio was originally an apartment on the 2nd floor of a commercial building in my town. So like out the window is the post office, which I don't know if anybody's like a fan of Richard Scarry Busy Town books, but I always feel like I'm in Busy Town because you like the post office trucks are always like beeping around. But because it was
helpers.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was an apartment, we have like a couple different rooms. So there's this area where I can sit and waste a lot of time. I have a studio mate, and so we each have like a little bookshelf with, she has a lot of great reference books, and I just mostly have art from other artist friends. And then my workspace, there is great lighting, but I turn it off for these kind of videos because it's kind of glaring. But it's like it's really just like a 12 by 12 or 12 by 12 foot room. But I've got a pretty good size work table. And then this is the side of the room where I work on the paintings, and I put up a pegboard wall. And so that allows me to like move pieces that are in progress, swap them out. And because it's like a solid enough surface, when I work on paper, I can either tape or clip paper pieces there too, not just panels. And then these are those trusty IKEA shelves, like little, little art shelves for small pieces. Great. And then over here is where all my collage materials are stored.
That looks so organized.
Well, you know what? I cleaned this morning because everything was a crazy mess yesterday because of the last time I was in the studio. I had a really good day, but I couldn't even see what I was working with today, so I had to clean it up. And then my studio mate is a full-time, I'm going to flip back around. That's pretty much it. There is like, it is a really fun space, and we just live in a small, you know, like sort of just a little small town, and there's not a ton of artists here. Like there's not like an artist community that we can draw from, or like there's not a big studio space with like a bunch of artists. But I do, like I said, share the space with a friend, but she's also a full-time art teacher at our high school. So during the school year, we don't overlap here very often, but in the summer we do more, and we really look forward to that because she's a good friend.
That's a really great system because you do have the run of the space, you know, from September till June. Yeah. And then you do get to catch up in the summer.
Yeah. And usually there's like one night a week where she tries to come, and then I'll try to, you know, make sure I'm here at that point too, so we could catch up. So we're really lucky, and it's a small town, so it's a big space, but the rent is really affordable, and hopefully we can stay here for a really long time.
It looks like you'd have good space for running workshops, and I know you've got some in-person workshops coming up later this summer. Are you going to hold them there? Or
no, goodness, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, so I help a friend I have a friend who lives in a beautiful farm, and for like the last 11 years, she's been doing small pop-up art shows there with like a small group of artist friends. It started out with like 4 artists in like all the buildings have been like refurbished, and they're beautiful and darling. And so they would all set up in the chicken coop. And then she decided,
free range show?
I advertise a lot about it. It's called the Free Range Art Show. And in like the last couple of years, I've started helping her with like some of the marketing and things like that. But it's really a home, like all the artists kind of pitch in to like make it happen. The last couple of years, she's opened up another barn building that like 4 or 5 more artists fit in, and that a couple of photos probably back in my feed. There's some great pictures because showing this abstract art in a barn just looks so cool.
So cool. Yeah.
So then we do 2 art shows a year, and right now we're doing 1 day of workshops. I'm not actually teaching. It's been a while since I've taught an in-person like process workshop. And I used to do it a bit. I've done a few here in the studio because there is like another room that has a little bit more space for tables, but it's just not where my like energy comes from. And so I have fun organizing them with Nancy, and I know they're going to be an amazing day. If anybody's in the Wisconsin or even Chicago area, they're totally worth spending a day doing. But I'm not teaching those. I right now only teach online. So I run an artist mastermind group, which is like a 6-month long, or this one is 7 months, sort of small peer networking, peer mastermind group. And then this year I started doing a couple of online courses that are like a 2-hour course with downloadable content that you get to access forever, like a video and stuff. And I have on my calendar that I'm going to do the next one in July, which I don't know in the middle of summer if it's going to be a good time or a bad time, but I just keep thinking, well, people can purchase the course and watch it later if they want to. And it's going to be about pricing your artwork, sort of like one part mindset, one part practical information on how to do that.
I love the name of the series, the Get Comfy series.
Yeah,
right?
The Get Comfy series. Yeah, I'm trying to focus on things that like make artists kind of cringe. Like the first one I did in, I think it was January, was Get Comfy talking about your art. Yeah, because I think it can be really, people get like, you get uncomfortable talking about your art, but it is really fun, and there's a lot of ways to kind of get over or past that discomfort. And so then pricing your work, and then I think they're on my website. The signups are already open. I just haven't been like really talking a lot about them yet, but the signups for pricing your work, and then the next one is approaching galleries, which it'll be information. It'll be information that is really more about like how to kind of package yourself and reach out to people. So whether you decide to take it to like reaching out to commercial galleries or, you know, retail shops or interior designers, like I think it'll be like pretty inclusive to take the information and then sort of like push it into the direction that you need it.
That's on your website now?
Yeah, and I can't remember the price.
And where can they find you? Oh, I saw the prices were like around $40 US
like
dollars or something
50.
like that.
Yeah,
40 or 50.
I try to keep it really accessible, and it is like 2 hours max, and that's just because I have fun talking. Yeah, but it's and it's a, you know, we do a Zoom, but it's all like a, you know, like I'm there talking live, but it's a slide sort of presentation, and it gets all recorded. And so a lot of people, for the Get Comfy Talking About Your Art, like knew they wanted the content but couldn't make the live class. And I feel like everybody that watched it later and used the information there themselves didn't miss being there live. I don't do a lot. There's like maybe one moment of question and answer, but I don't do, it's not a live like back and forth teaching. It's really me, you know, talking and people listening and absorbing. So yeah.
But that's what a lot of people, like speaking for myself, I mean, you want kind of like a quick hit.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily want to, you know, do like months and months and months of it just because of time, right?
Yeah. No, and you know what? Short and sweet and actionable things that you can go and put into action right away is so important for most adults, right?
Okay, I think so. Your website when this is done, because this has actually been percolating in my mind.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, and on mine, I'll like share this video and everything, and then I'll also share posts in my stories with links right to that part of my page. But it's all like, you know, right in the bio as well. I try and make it, you know, you got to make this stuff easy to find.
And your website is meganwoodardjohnson.com.
That's easy.
It's easy to
remember. Should we ask Megan if she's experienced any of the weirdness of Instagram while we have her on here?
That could take all day.
Well, I thought, you know, just like a 1 minute, have you noticed, like we have noticed, like Tamara 100%. And I, it's almost like our accounts are in sync. The weirdness is happening simultaneously.
So do you mean weirdness by like reach and likes and getting your, like the
followers, like mysteriously appearing?
Oh yeah.
Well, like by the dozens.
Oh, dozens.
By the dozens in the morning, and then they're gone by the evening, and then they're back the next day.
That you've had any follows?
Yeah. And this, I don't want this to sound like, well, once I reach 10,000 followers, I stopped counting. But like the truth kind of is, I was aiming for that 10,000 followers for the link, because there's so much information you want to be able to share with the link. And then the link went to everybody. And then like a week later, I got 10,000 followers. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. It is true though, that like followers come and they leave. And so I don't really pay attention to those numbers. Like if I love followers that comment or engage, and I definitely pay attention to them, but the sort of in and out, I don't pay attention too much. But I have really noticed like a typical post at a random time. Like I was never very like deliberate about what time of day I posted. I wasn't, you know, I didn't schedule my posts that way. But I could post like any time of day, and I was at a point where I was getting like 800 likes, which was amazing, right? And like it feels incredible. And now a post that like by all accounts is really the same quality level, same type of image, same type of caption, same engagement, you know, like from my perspective, same sort of, you know, friendliness, whatever. And it's like 125. Hello. And so I just, I don't think it's that like nobody likes my art all of a sudden. I don't know what it is, but I also know that when I open Instagram, all I see are reels of people, of accounts that I don't even follow. Yes. And so I don't know.
Okay, we're getting confirmation. It's not just us.
I wrote a newsletter post that sent it out on Sunday, and I wrote.
Yes, I saw that. I read it.
It's not you, it's Instagram.
Yeah, it's true. And we just talked about this in our mastermind group. I keep circling back to trying to think like, okay, I use Instagram to connect to people, and so I try and just keep acting that way on it. So I'm not changing, I'm not scrambling to try and do more to get my reach better. Instagram hasn't been a place where I've reliably sold artwork, so I haven't noticed like a drop in income. That would be scary if that's where it was really coming from. I will tell you that the last time I opened up registration for my mastermind, it was like the week before I was getting those 1,000 likes on my posts of my artwork and like huge amounts of reach. And then I started talking about the mastermind and it went to like 40, and I was like, what? It felt like I dropped off some cliff. And that was frustrating because Instagram is a really great way for me to reach what I really feel like is the right audience for these types of online like teaching opportunities.
Sure. Yeah.
And so then you just have to sort of be a little more direct, like actually messaging people or asking friends to share, that kind of thing to get things out. But yeah.
Or just even like I'm at the point where it was really upsetting and bothering me. And then I thought, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything.
And it does.
It's more perplexing.
I know.
It is.
Yeah, it's very like, it makes me curious. And I think that's kind of good and interesting. It really doesn't bother me about my art, but it bothers me when I'm like launching a new class or something that then is like this thing that I've built. And I really know like the people that follow me would value this. This would be good for them. Number one, it's not getting to them. And number two, like you do classes for an income stream. And so then if that like completely falls flat, it is frustrating from that perspective too.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can't rely on it for just one thing.
No, but it is still, I think, the best place for that artist community.
Yep.
Like that, I have to remind myself that's really, aside from being able to share art and see art, there's something about connecting with other artists.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we started this. That's why we started this.
Yeah.
36 episodes ago? 37? Yeah. I don't even know.
Exactly.
36. We're 36.
Is it 36?
Cool.
Yep. We're getting there. We're almost at a year.
So, I mean, I certainly hope that it doesn't go away or it doesn't get so hard for us to see art posts that we lose that community. But I think sometimes it means maybe being a little more intentional about how you go on and engage and like go like click on your list of people that you're following and actually go find their post and engage with it. So it might be a little less easy essentially because what it seems like they're making it real easy for you to see is like weird stuff.
Yeah,
like
so,
you have to hunt down the artists who you normally would be seeing. Like when I think about it, it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen any posts from so-and-so. And then I realize it's just not showing up on my feed anymore. So you're right. You have to like go knock on their door.
Yeah, that's a good way
see
to
what
put
they've
it,
been
right.
up to.
Exactly.
And bring over your coffee.
I think it's also really good to think about it every now and then. Remind yourself, why you're here and what do you expect to get out of it, and also treat it a bit strategically. Like, what's the return if you're trying to generate income for your business, or you're trying to get people to buy your art or whatever? What's your return on investment? For the time that you're spending here, and is the time you're spending. It's really easy to trick yourself into thinking that you're spending all this time that's on something work related, but it's not.
No, it's I spend a lot of time following like baby cows and
cats,
dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
They're good for us though up here, right? Like,
and they are,
That's what you need.
Well, this is the best thing about Instagram as far as I'm concerned. The possibility that we could be in 3 completely different places, all in different time zones, and we can get on here and have a real-time conversation. And
I know.
there's no lag. It's not like when you're on Zoom it's been really, really great for that. So and if the Instagram gods are with us, we actually can save these things to come back to.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and
otherwise you're coming back again, Megan.
I will come back as many times as you guys want. You know that. I like to chat.
We love
and you're smart to be porting them over to YouTube now too, because that's a good place to hold on to things for a little longer.
It's just another hard drive. It's just an
hard drive.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
But there have been horror stories about YouTube. Wasn't it Pauline? Her YouTube account
disappeared.
Yeah.
Oh wow. This week, last week.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's like
we're hearing
gone.
These stories, and it's just and she doesn't know why. She has no idea why.
How about I've heard good things about Vimeo, that it's like another.
Does it
it's
still
another
exist?
video. I think so.
Initially, I mean, it started a long time ago as an alternative to YouTube, and people were using it, but then it sort of fell off my radar, and I don't see very many people using it anymore. I don't know why.
No, it's certainly not as, it's sort of, it didn't, it's not like it really became a huge competition. Oh, maybe they do
charge.
now.
I think that's the reason. It's not a free platform. So
we need to invent it. We need to invent some kind of social media platform that is like an art focused one, but more kind of similar to Instagram. Artagram. But like
Artagram.
Basically rip off all the good stuff about Instagram and tailor it to suit our needs.
Yep.
I don't
well,
see a problem
people that can help us do that without copyright infringement.
That's the big thing.
Exactly.
Think of all the lawsuits, eh?
Jeez. No, thank you.
We just go back to Tumblr or something. There we go.
Yeah, or Squarespace or
what was the
MySpace?
Flickr. Oh yeah, or Flickr was just
Flickr,
like
I remember
a photo.
Flickr.
I still have a Flickr account
stuff
somewhere.
Yeah.
But
somebody gave us just tried to share. Why don't you listen to Mark Steele on BBC Sounds, comedian who is hilarious and talks about British towns. Certainly, maybe we will. Thank you for that recommendation.
maybe in preparation for my trip. Maybe that was the idea.
There you go.
All right.
Otherwise, if it was about Bitcoin, we'd have to be like,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
Don't go there.
Don't even say that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All
right. Thank you for having me on again.
Well, our pleasure. So much fun to have you, Megan.
So much for chatting.
So easy.
Great. Yep. I got to go hard and finish a couple pieces and then go easy for a while will be the way.
All right. Well, have a great trip. Maybe we'll see a few photos. Maybe you'll post a few photos on Instagram.
I'll share some stuff for sure. Yep, I will for sure.
All right, chat soon. Okay, thanks everybody for being here.
Thanks everybody. Bye.